What if I told you that anxiety isn't something you need to escape, but something you can master? In a world that feels increasingly uncertain, stress and worry have become part of our daily lives. But over 2,000 years ago, the Stoics developed a set of principles that allowed them to face fear, uncertainty, and chaos with unshakable calm. Today, we're going to break down 10 powerful Stoic strategies that can help you deal with anxiety in a way that actually works by changing your mindset, not just managing symptoms. These aren't vague self-help tips. They're battle-tested philosophies used by some of history's greatest thinkers, warriors, and leaders. And the best part? They're just as relevant today as they were in ancient Rome. So if you've ever felt overwhelmed by worry, stuck in endless what-ifs, or paralyzed by fear, stick around, because the Stoics have answers. Number 1, accept what you cannot control. Anxiety is a relentless whisper in the back of our minds, convincing us that if we just think hard enough, stress enough, or plan far enough ahead, we can control everything. But control is an illusion. The Stoics understood this better than anyone. Make the best use of what is in your power and take the rest as it happens. Epictetus reminds us. When you accept that certain things, people's opinions, the weather, market crashes, or even your own past, are beyond your grasp, anxiety loses its fuel. Imagine you're stuck in traffic, running late for an important meeting. The old version of you might grip the steering wheel, fume at the red lights, or curse the slow driver ahead. But what if, instead, you used this moment to practice acceptance? You can't change the traffic. You can only control your reaction. Take a deep breath. Listen to a podcast. Appreciate the time as a rare pause in your day. The stress won't get you there faster, but it will ruin your mood when you do arrive. Modern life bombards us with uncertainty, job stability, relationships, global events. We often carry the weight of the world on our shoulders, mistakenly believing it's our burden to bear. The truth is, no amount of worry will dictate the outcome of forces beyond us. What will happen, will happen. A Stoic focuses on their own actions, their own choices. When anxiety creeps in, ask yourself, am I wasting my energy on something outside my control? If the answer is yes, let it go. Accepting this isn't defeat, it's the ultimate freedom. Number 2, practice negative visualization. Anxiety often strikes hardest when we resist the possibility of bad things happening. We fear losing our jobs, getting sick, being rejected, or making mistakes. We build up these fears in our minds, acting as if simply thinking about them will make them more real. But the Stoics had a different approach. Instead of avoiding these thoughts, they leaned into them. He robs present ills of their power who has perceived their coming beforehand, Seneca wrote. When we confront our fears in advance, they lose their sting. A modern Stoic understands this principle well. Suppose you're terrified of public speaking. You lie awake the night before, imagining all the ways it could go wrong. Your hands will shake, your voice will crack. Maybe people will even laugh at you. Instead of suppressing these thoughts, Stoicism invites you to visualize them fully. What if all of these things really did happen? Would it be the end of the world? Probably not. You might feel embarrassed, but you would survive. People would forget by tomorrow. Once you accept the worst-case scenario, it no longer holds power over you. In a society obsessed with positivity, this idea can feel counterintuitive. Shouldn't we visualize success instead? But when you embrace the possibility of failure, you no longer fear it. You become adaptable, ready to face whatever comes. Whether it's losing a job, a relationship ending, or financial hardship, mentally preparing for difficulties makes you stronger. When they do come, and they will, you'll face them with resilience, not panic. Anxiety thrives in the unknown. Negative visualization makes the unknown familiar, and when we are familiar with something, we fear it far less. Number 3, ground yourself in the present moment. Anxiety is a thief. It robs us of the only thing we truly have, the present moment. Wild animals run from the dangers they actually see, and once they have escaped, they worry no more. We, however, are tormented alike by what is past and what is to come. Seneca observed, "A lion runs from a predator, but when the danger is gone, it does not sit in the grass ruminating about what could have happened." Humans, on the other hand, replay past failures and obsess over future problems that may never come. Consider a modern-day example. You're lying in bed, unable to sleep, thinking about an upcoming presentation. You imagine every way it could go wrong. Then your mind shifts to the past, to that embarrassing moment in high school when you stumbled over your words. Your heart races, your chest tightens, and yet, at this moment, lying in your bed, none of these threats are real. Your body is responding to imaginary dangers. The mind is an incredible tool, but when left unchecked, it creates unnecessary suffering. The way out is presence. A Stoic would recognize the symptoms of anxious thinking and gently return to the now. What is real in this moment? The feeling of the blanket against your skin, the sound of your breath, the air moving in and out of your lungs. Anxiety lives in the past and the future, but peace only exists in the present. The more you train yourself to return to this moment, the less control your worries will have over you. Number 4, use reason to dismantle fear. Anxiety often disguises itself as truth. It whispers in your ear, "You're not good enough. This will end badly. People will judge you." But the Stoics teach us that most of our fears are just distortions of reality. Man is not worried by real problems so much as by his imagined anxieties about real problems, Epictetus explains. We don't fear reality. We fear our thoughts about reality. A Stoic approaches anxiety the way a scientist approaches a hypothesis, with curiosity, not blind acceptance. Imagine you're dreading a difficult conversation with your boss. Your mind floods with worst-case scenarios. You'll be fired, humiliated, left struggling to pay rent. But if you step back and analyze your fear, you'll likely see it for what it is, an exaggeration. What are the actual chances of your worst fear coming true? And even if it did, would it really be as catastrophic as your mind suggests? Anxiety thrives on vagueness. The moment you bring logic into the equation, its power diminishes. Write down your fear, question it, challenge it. You'll often find that what seemed overwhelming in your mind is far less terrifying when examined rationally. The goal isn't to eliminate all fear. That would be impossible. The goal is to see fear clearly, so it no longer controls you. Number 5, view anxiety as a training ground for strength. When anxiety strikes, most people see it as a weakness. A Stoic sees it as an opportunity. Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body, Seneca reminds us. Just as a muscle grows stronger under resistance, so does the mind when it faces discomfort head-on. A modern-day Stoic doesn't run from anxiety. They use it as training. Consider an athlete preparing for a marathon. They don't avoid difficult runs because they're uncomfortable. They embrace them because they know struggle is the only way to build endurance. The same principle applies to the mind. Each time you face an anxious situation and move through it, you prove to yourself that you can handle more than you thought. Think about a time when anxiety made you hesitate. Maybe asking someone out, applying for a job, or speaking up in a meeting. If you backed down, anxiety won. But if you pushed through, you emerged stronger. That moment of discomfort was your training. Over time, repeated exposure builds resilience. A Stoic welcomes this process. The mind, like the body, grows under pressure. The next time anxiety creeps in, don't see it as a curse. See it as a chance to develop unshakable strength. Number 6, practice voluntary discomfort. Most people spend their lives avoiding discomfort at all costs. The Stoics, however, sought it out. They understood that comfort breeds weakness, while controlled hardship builds resilience. Set aside now and then a number of days during which you shall be content with the scantiest and cheapest fare, with coarse and rough dress, saying to yourself the while, "Is this the condition that I feared?" Seneca advised. When you deliberately experience discomfort, you realize that most of your fears are overblown. In modern life, we have so many luxuries that even minor inconveniences, slow Wi-Fi, an unreturned text, a delayed flight, can trigger frustration and anxiety. A Stoic disrupts this pattern. Imagine fasting for a day, sleeping on the floor for a night, or taking a cold shower. These small acts remind you that you can endure more than you think. You voluntarily experience struggle so that when life inevitably delivers real hardship, you're already prepared. More importantly, voluntary discomfort breaks the hold that material comforts have over you. If you know you can get by on little, you become less fearful of losing what you have. You stop living in constant anxiety about money, status, or possessions. Instead, you cultivate a sense of inner security, one that no external circumstance can take away. Number 7, write your thoughts down to gain clarity. Anxiety thrives in the shadows of the mind. When your worries remain unspoken and undefined, they feel massive, like an approaching storm with no clear direction. But Stoicism teaches that one of the most powerful ways to dismantle anxiety is to confront it on paper. No man is more unhappy than he who never faces adversity, for he is not permitted to prove himself, Seneca observed. Writing forces you to face your thoughts head-on, and in doing so, you take away their power. A modern Stoic understands that journaling isn't just a tool for recording events. It's a weapon against chaos. Suppose you're feeling anxious about an upcoming decision. Instead of letting your mind race with possibilities, you sit down and write. What exactly are you afraid of? What is the worst that could happen? How would you handle it? More often than not, this process reveals that your fears are exaggerated, and you're far more capable than you thought. Writing also helps track patterns in your thinking. If you notice the same worries appearing again and again, you can begin to address them at their root. It's easy to get lost in a spiral of anxious thoughts, but words on a page create structure. They force clarity, and clarity is the enemy of anxiety. Number 8. Remind yourself that everything is temporary. Anxiety often arises from the illusion that pain, struggle, and uncertainty will last forever. But the Stoics remind us that nothing, good or bad, is permanent. All things human are short-lived and perishable, Marcus Aurelius wrote. No matter how intense your anxiety feels in this moment, it will pass. No storm lasts forever. A modern Stoic applies this wisdom by stepping back and seeing the bigger picture. Think about the last time you were deeply worried about something, maybe a job interview, a difficult conversation, or a financial setback. At the time, it felt overwhelming, but now it's just a memory. The same will be true for today's worries. When anxiety grips you, remind yourself, this is temporary. I have faced difficulties before, and I will face them again, and each time they pass. Even the worst moments of life, heartbreak, failure, loss, eventually fade into the past. Just as winter turns to spring, every hardship gives way to something new. This perspective doesn't just reduce anxiety, it builds confidence. If you truly accept that everything is temporary, you stop resisting change and start embracing life as it unfolds. You learn to ride the waves instead of being crushed by them. And in that acceptance, you find peace. Number 9. Adopt a bigger perspective. Anxiety thrives in the narrowness of our personal struggles. When we are consumed by our own problems, they seem insurmountable. But Stoicism teaches us to zoom out. Look at everything that exists and observe that it is already dissolving, changing, and being replaced, Marcus Aurelius wrote. When we step back and see ourselves as just one small part of a vast, ever-changing universe, our anxieties lose their weight. A modern Stoic understands this principle well. Imagine you're overwhelmed by stress at work. Deadlines pile up, your boss is demanding, and the pressure feels unbearable. But take a moment to shift perspectives. In the grand scheme of your life, will this deadline matter in 5 years? Probably not. Expand even further. Will it matter in 50 years? In 100? The Earth has existed for billions of years. Civilizations have risen and fallen. Entire galaxies are forming and disappearing as you read this. In that vast timeline, your current stress is insignificant. This isn't meant to make you feel small. It's meant to liberate you. When you see how fleeting everything is, you stop gripping so tightly to worries that don't deserve your energy. You approach life with more detachment, more peace. The next time anxiety grips you, ask yourself, from the perspective of a year, 5 years, or the universe itself, how much does this really matter? More often than not, the answer is not as much as you think. Number 10. Focus on your duty, not your worries. Anxiety often keeps us trapped in our own heads, replaying past mistakes, fearing future outcomes, hesitating when action is needed. But Marcus Aurelius gives us a powerful remedy. Don't let your imagination be crushed by life as a whole. Don't try to picture everything bad that could possibly happen. Stick with the situation at hand. The key to overcoming anxiety isn't overthinking, it's action. A modern Stoic knows that worry is unproductive, Say you're anxious about an upcoming interview. You could sit there spiraling in self-doubt, imagining all the ways you might fail. Or you could prepare. Research the company. Practice your responses. Do what's in your control. The former drains your energy. The latter directs it towards something useful. This mindset applies to every aspect of life. If you're worried about your health, take action, exercise, eat better, get rest. If you're anxious about a difficult conversation, have it. The more time you spend worrying, the less time you spend living. The Stoics remind us that anxiety is often a signal, not to retreat into overthinking, but to step forward and do what needs to be done. The next time you feel paralyzed by worry, ask yourself, what is my duty right now? Not tomorrow, not next week, right now. Focus on that and let the rest take care of itself. Anxiety is part of life, but it doesn't have to control you. The Stoics knew that fear is often just a trick of the mind, one that loses its power when faced with logic, perspective, and action. By focusing on what you can control, embracing discomfort, and reminding yourself of life's impermanence, you build the kind of resilience that no external challenge can shake. You don't need a stress-free life to be at peace. You just need the right mindset. And that's exactly what Stoicism gives you. If you found these strategies useful, leave a comment below and let me know which one resonated most with you. And if you want more Stoic wisdom for modern life, make sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching, and remember, you have more control than you think. If you found this video helpful, please like and share it to spread the wisdom of Stoic philosophy. Don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss future videos on Stoic living and personal growth. Thank you for watching, and I wish you strength on your journey.